So the NDP, or a member of the NDP party, Niki Ashton, who many may recall, she was the one that was running in their own leadership race, um, with Jagmeet Singh. Jagmeet Singh won, of course, that election. And Niki Ashton was kind of one of those people that, like AOC, like Bernie Sanders, she knew how to talk the talk, and I had hopes for her. I had high, potential for her to become the leader of the NDP. But when push came to shove, when it actually came to action, Nikki Ashton uh, kind of just continues to disappoint. She became a general run of the mill politician instead of an actual force for progressive values and for the working class. Just like AOC, just like how Bernie Sanders were major disappointments and still continue to be major disappointments. So, but this was an actual great moment for Nikki Ashton and the NDP because they came forward and blasted Mark Carney. Mark Carney, who's had a sludge of dirty laundry, of scandal after scandal, of things that you couldn't even imagine that we have come across. Everything from dealings with Brookfield, from corruption with the Green Slush Fund, how he's increasing carbon taxes but profiting off of coal mines in other nations, and even to the point where his family is connected to Ghislaine Maxwell, and how he has three different citizenships. And we don't really know much about his history as being a Canadian, but he exemplifies himself as a European. That's what he told his WF buddies. As a European, wait, I thought you're Canadian. You're running in a Canadian election. So, Nikki Ashton came forward and says, accuses Brookfield Asset Management of tax avoidance and demands Mark Carney come clean about his role. So, listen to this. This is really scathing that she puts forward and really, really hammers hard on Mark Carney. Listen to this.
The attack on us by the Trump administration and our vulnerability to that attack didn't just happen. We need to take bold action to support each other and make sure that our Canada is less vulnerable in the future. Part of that is our ability to raise taxes on the rich so we can invest in Canada. Today, we're dealing with the legacy of decades of hollowing out of our economy, key sectors like manufacturing and mining sectors, and our taxation system itself. This didn't just happen. This has been part of an agenda to privatize and open up our economy to the very vulnerability we face today. An agenda of tax breaks for big corporations and the wealthy. It is the result of decades of liberal and conservative policies, of job-killing trade deals, of privatization and austerity that have brought us to this point. It is the result of the intentional establishment of a tax code that allows the rich and powerful to get away without paying their fair share of taxes while workers pay more than what they have. The rich and powerful have been allowed and even encouraged to not pay what they owe in taxes. Which brings me to Mark Carney and Brookfield Asset Management, the person who has been touted as having the solutions to our economic challenges. And yet Mark Carney is very much the poster person for the broken system, the hollowing out of Canada that has made us so vulnerable today. Mark Carney has a clear track record of pushing for wealth accumulation for the rich at the expense of workers and Canadian communities. A 2023 report from the Centre for International Corporate Tax Accountability and Research called Brookfield Canada's top tax dodger. In 2021, Brookfield Asset Management dodged a jaw-dropping $6.5 billion all on its own, according to Canadians for Tax Fairness. In 2021 alone, Canada lost $30 billion in corporate tax revenue to offshore havens. This means that 1 in 5 of all the tax dollars corporations diverted from the Canadian public came from Brookfield alone. This is obscene, and Canadians are paying the price. Today, we in the NDP are calling on Mark Carney to come clean about his role in Brookfield's exploitative practices. Did he help Brookfield dodge taxes? Canadians deserve to know.
So, that's some big revelating stuff about Mark Carney. And again, it's great that they're bringing this to attention. It's all more information on who this guy is, what just a catastrophe he would be in leading this country through more and more just an absolute devastation. But are they really going to actually do anything towards Mark Carney, considering the guy has been in Brookfield and has dealt with these business dealings and corruption scandal for how many years? That's the thing. That's, again, I'm glad that Niki Ashton said those things, because those are very, very important. But at the same time, she could talk the talk, but is she gonna walk the walk? That's the big
attack
thing.
on us by the
So here, for example, just to highlight some many different examples of just how Mark Carney is just this insane, corrupted psychopath that miraculously just got into thin air and is now leading in the Liberal leadership race. The guy who has never been elected, never been really in Canadian politics other than being the supposed bank governor of Canada and the UK. That's why he had two citizenships, and a third one with Ireland. Here's just one of the many examples of what makes this guy just such a big, huge question mark. So, American firm employing Mark Carney's wife receives huge contracts from Government of Canada. Gerald Butts also worked for the Eurasia Group. That's from the Western Standard. Mark Carney defends staggering Bank of England expenses bill. Governor says context is important, and his own 2-year bill exceeds $300,000. The Bank of England governor has defended his advisor's staggering expenses claims, as he revealed that his own bill exceeds $300,000 over the past 2 years. So, and that's when he was the the governor for the Bank of England, to which the former Prime Minister Liz Truss openly stated that Mark Carney was killing the UK economy in his position. And this is the guy that also advised Justin Trudeau for killing our economy for his own flourishes. Here's this. Canadian journalist sacked in scandal involving art sale to Mark Carney. Bank of England governor was interviewed on CBC, the national broadcaster, by Evan Solomon, who brokered deals and took secret commissions, says reports. So all these scathing details that people like Niki Ashton and the NDP have known about for a long while. They know about a guy like him who was able to miraculously get himself into the Liberal Party and the leadership race. So why are they choosing this exact moment to mention this? To mention about his tax avoidance and his dodging? If we already know so much about him previously, why are they choosing right this moment? And are they actually going to follow through and question Mark Carney? Because right now it looks like all the political parties, aside from the Conservatives and the People's Party, are coordinating together to cancel democracy. Because they feel that the tariff war is going to interrupt election process. So they said no to election. This is from Table Salt, and it says, there it is, found it. Mark Carney's Brookfield, now America, because he ditched Canada while he was chair. So they moved the headquarters from Canada to the United States, and he lied about it. Mark Carney lied about it when asked during the Liberal debate in Montreal. He lied about the moving of the headquarters. He was chair at that moment. And while he was chair, he owns 49% of the world's largest coal plant. As he is lecturing Canadians on why they need to give up more for climate change, how you can't have a gas power lawnmower, how you need to pay more in carbon taxes. He owns 49% of a fossil fuel coal plant, the largest in the world. And I can tell you that is outside of Canada. That is outside of Canada. Which shows how massively corrupted this guy is on a global scale. Here is this guy, Kirk Lumbenvov, who says one of the biggest problems we have in Canada economically is we have whole sectors that haven't or have barely grown in the past 10 years. Except the public sector. The public administration is now bigger than Canada's construction industry. We became a highly inefficient economy, except at the production of paper pushers. Sounds like Canada can use their own version of Doge. Am I right? Maybe not eliminating Social Security and Medicare like they're trying to do in the United States, which makes that sketchy, but look at the reports here. So this is a graph here. GDP from construction versus public administration growth. Look at how much. You can see the bottom part being the construction and the top part being, or sorry, no, the bottom part is the public administration and the look at just in the past 2 years. Just went up the roof. And what sectors are they adding more federal employees? Are they adding more to advance infrastructure? Are they doing it to cut back on foreign affairs initiatives? No. But it's going to hurt construction. It's going to hurt infrastructure here in this country. It's going to affect so many different sectors. But they got a bunch of pencil pushers for the Justin Trudeau government. Interesting. Here's also this graph. Canada versus the United States change in GDP per capita. And you can see Canada back in 2010, 2011 was actually way ahead of the United States. And it was at one point Canada had such a strong economy and such a strong middle class that more and more Americans idolize Canada as being a great country for working class people. They idolized it as being one of the top tier countries for livable and sustainability. That's no longer the case now. That's no longer the case because we immediately dropped around 2015, slowly going down. The United States picks up. And then there's 2020. That's when COVID hit. So the United States and Canada both hit it, drop there. And look at Canada compared to the U.S. now. Canada way below. It was neck and neck at first. And then slowly went down. Then COVID hit. Now we really sank compared to America. And that's because we've hollowed out all of our industries. And Mark Carney, who doesn't believe that we still use steel, is being championed by the Liberal Party to potentially be its next leader. And they want to usher in and coordinate him to replace Justin Trudeau to further destruct this country and further demise the working class people, working sectors that build and function and maintain this country. But luckily, they have more and more people in the public sector, which again, I'd be interested if we ever get the opportunity to have a Doge, which we kind of have a bit of it with the Canadian Taxpaying Federation, that website that exposed a lot of details with global affairs and whatnot. But it needs to go to a higher extent, and we really need a huge audit to understand what is going on here in Canada. So here is Canada Proud put this together. It says, we're exposing Mark Carney's top lies in a national ad campaign. Let's make sure every Canadian sees the truth before it's too late. So right now they're doing huge advertisement right now. You could look at any broadcaster within this country, and right now they're talking about tariffs. They're deciding who's better and who's worse for dealing with Donald Trump, between Pierre Poilievre and Mark Carney and so on. But this should be the advertisement that should be broadcast, that every Canadian should know about a person like Mark Carney. Listen to this.
Here are the top 5 lies that Mark Carney has told the Canadians so far. Number 5, moving his company to America. Mark Carney has publicly stated that he had nothing to do with moving his company's headquarters from Toronto to New York City.
The formal decision of the board, happened after I ceased to be on the board.
But leaked documents reveal that he personally signed a letter endorsing the move just 1 month before leaving the company. Number 4, balancing the books. Within minutes of lying about moving his company, Mark Carney claimed that he helped Paul Martin balance the budget.
It was my privilege to work with Paul Martin when he balanced the books and kept the books balanced.
In fact, Martin had balanced the budget in 1998, while Carney was still working at Goldman Sachs. Number 3, semiconductor strength. Mark Carney recently told a small crowd at one of his campaign rallies that the US gets most of its semiconductors from Canada, and he would shut those off.
We supply almost all their semiconductors. That whole, everybody in the White House is a tech bro except for Trump. They all need semiconductors. They all come from Canada. Maybe they won't.
Carney was trying to sound tough, but turns out he doesn't know what he's talking about. The US is famously reliant on Asia for semiconductors and imports less than 1% of them from Canada. Number 2, Canadians don't use steel. While arguing for higher carbon taxes, Mark Carney claimed that we can safely tax steel because Canadians don't use it anyway.
But does that not ultimately trickle down?
No, because what the big companies are producing, by and large, are not products that we are consuming. There's some element of that, but by and large, a steel company, how much steel are you using these days, Todd?
As it turns out, steel is a part of almost every product you use. From your car to your kitchenware to your household appliances to the electronic device you're watching this video on right now. And all that would become even more expensive when Carney hikes the carbon tax. Number 1, resigning from his positions. When he announced his run for Prime Minister, Mark Carney said he was resigning from all of his positions.
Okay, just to be clear, I resigned all my roles, cut all my ties. I am all in.
But an investigation by the National Post found at least 5 international organizations that he has not actually resigned from. Which Mark Carney lie do you think is the most serious? And do you think that Mark Carney is a pathological liar? Let us know in the comments.
Yes, I can answer that for you. Yes, he is a pathological, narcissistic, psychotic, sociopathic liar, which makes him perfect on the global scale. There's so many different scandals. I didn't even know that he used to work at Goldman Sachs. So I guess he also is American. I guess we could claim him as American too. On top of UK, Ireland, and Canada. I mean, this guy is a walking human life scandal on its own. And this is the guy that they're trying to champion to being the top contender to replace Justin Trudeau. And coming from someone who notoriously has lied to you right to your face, lied about his past, lied about his business dealings, and still continue to profit being members of Brookfield, being members of the WEF, on the further destruction that's going to wreck more and more of Canada. So, good on, Niki Ashton, the NDP, for calling him out. But are they actually going to do anything about it? That's my concern. Now that you know this material, now that you know this information, are they actually going to go toe-to-toe to deal with Mark Carney? I would hope so, but my chances are very, very slim.